Adipa, படிமா.
Anak coding, ini. Nama.
Yep.
Yeah, I hope you can all hear me. Okay, just you don't have to unmute yourself. I don't think you can, in case that's the case. We've had other plans to start off with this session, but then since we've lost a good amount of time here, I don't think I'm going to take up anything as such as a class today. So what we'll instead do is, in case if you have any doubts from say week 1 and 2 at this moment, you can ask that. Originally, the plan was to make you do certain practices with at least the week 1 topic, but at this rate we cannot. So maybe I think from the next week onwards we'll have a GMIT session, so it will be more. It will be better, modified and done. And people who are commenting random things in the comment box, if you do not want to be removed permanently, please don't do that, okay? The classes are done for the purpose of training and teaching. You have other things to say and talk, please take it elsewhere. This is not the platform for that. Take this as a final warning to all. Okay? Right, today is the first class, Aniket. So usually the structure of the class is mostly in the seminar or tutorial mode. Okay. No, Adiba, what you can do is if you have any question, you can type them out in the chat, right? So I'll respond to it because this is a huge call, it would become a difficult process for us if we're going to give you the unmute right, because I did witness what was going on before I did join the session. So it is a little difficult for us to keep tab on every person, especially when it is 200 plus and all. So please utilize your chat box to write down the doubts if you have any. I will definitely reply to all of them as much possible. Voice is not clear? Is that so? If you can hear it okay enough, then it should be all right. Please don't look for 100% clarity and all. Bass voice. I don't know what that means. Okay. Okay, for some of you, it may not be clear. For some of you, because some of you say it's okay as well. So check in your connections also in case you're not able to hear properly. Right? Okay, so just to quickly tell you about how the sessions run. Okay, sure. Thank you. So what we usually do is we come in for this session, right? And we utilize this time to solve certain exercises that are related to your modules. Okay? So I usually have worksheets prepared. We work together on that and see if we are able to solve those questions. And those questions are basically to check the conceptual clarity, right? So you can check it for yourself in case you've understood what is being delivered in the lecture, or if there are things that you haven't understood. You can utilize this time to ask about those, right? This is in addition to what you will have on Wednesday. So that live session continues. We are not going to have any changes in that 5 to 6. You're going to have this live session with the faculty on Wednesday. So this one would be mostly like a tutorial, or it would be like a practice session, right? We won't take all the topics that's available for you for this semester, because not all of them require attention. So a select few topics which is required, or which we think is something that could be a little difficult for you in terms of understanding them or solving the questions related to them, we work out in this class, right? Okay, I hope that's understood. I'll just quickly go through your chat to see if there are questions for us. Should we consider British or American accent for when we are solving graded assignments? No, there is nothing like British or American accent. See, we whatever you normally hear in India, which you know as received pronunciation, should be fine, right? You don't have to be bothered with accent. But if you're asking me about the dictionary reading and other things, then usually we do follow the sound systems of vowel that has derived from the British English. But even the other one is fine. You won't be penalized or marked wrong if you're using that. As long as the word that you're hearing and you're trying to understand is intelligible, it is fine. So no particular accent and all. Okay. There is a clash of timing between English and clash of timing. See, there is hardly anything that we can do about clash of timing. Let this run for a week or two. Let's see in case if we can adjust it somewhere to a time where it's not a problem for you and me both. Then we'll think about it. But at least for the first 2 or 3 weeks, let us run like this. Otherwise, we are going to disturb the whole timetable that they have set. Okay. Will the recordings of live classes, all the recordings are made available. See, wherever you have accessed the link for this class, you will find the playlist being uploaded right there. So you please check for the recorded sessions for each of the session on the calendar itself. You'll get a playlist there, and you can directly go click on that link and find the recorded sessions. Okay. But before that, let me quickly see. You're all able to hear properly, right? Just confirm 2 or 3 of you. You can hear properly? Okay, all right. See, I have a mix of yes and no. So if there are yeses, I am just going to take it as yes. If there is a problem with clarity, also check your connections because there are many yeses also. Okay, getting back. Hmm, there is question is what? The 4,000 means diphthong and semi-vowel, there's nothing to know about them in depth. All you need to know is semi-vowels, they're basically consonants, okay? Why are they called semi-vowels then? Because see, they have a gliding property. What are the semi-vowels you have in English? You have v and you have y, right? Now, when you look at the acoustic property, that is the physical property of these two sounds, when you say y, right, there is a gliding from a particular sound to next, right? Like it sounds like ear, like e in ear. Same for v, oo, v. It sounds like you're, moving from oo to a different sound, right? Oo, v, like ear. Now, all this happens only when you say this very slowly in connected speech, that is in your day-to-day speech when you're talking spontaneously, this is hardly heard. But because of this gliding property and also the involvement of a vowel-like sound somewhere, they're also referred to as semi-vowels. But remember, if people ask you, what is the distinctive quality of the sounds v and y, then they are consonants. They are classified as consonants. But because of this gliding property, they are also termed as semi-vowels. Okay. So that's all you need to know about those two sounds. Otherwise, they are not, there are other things, but those kind of technical details is not required for your understanding, at least at this point. And diphthongs are sounds like I, a, ear, right? So boy, as in the sound that you hear in the word boy after b, oi. This is an example of a diphthong. Or in the word ear, right? E-A-R, ear. The first sound, actually the only sound in the word ear is ear, the diphthong sound, right? So diphthong is basically again a glider that, it again, when you hear these sounds, it feels like you're moving from one vowel to the next, like e in ear. Or if it is boy, then oi, from O to E, right? So because of again this movement from a particular vowel to the next sound, they're called as diphthongs. Some people would tell you it's a combination of two vowel sound. That's one way of looking at it. But technically, these are all separate sounds, right? So never look at it as a combination of two vowel sounds. So your pure vowels, e, u, all of them are different, and diphthongs are also different set of vowels. So put together, you have 20 vowel sounds in English, 12 pure and 8 diphthongs. Okay. So this is basically, these are the basic things about diphthongs and semivowels. If you have anything more, then you can ask. If there's something that you did not understand from the lecture, specifically something that was said in the lecture, then you can ask. But for your basic understanding of diphthongs and semivowels, this is what it means. Okay. So that question. So monophthongs. What are monophthongs, Ashwath? They're pure vowels. Okay, like e, e, u, u. Okay, the long and short counterparts, 5 of them that we have, they are pure vowels. Okay, so they are monophthongs. So monophthongs and diphthongs. Diphthongs are the ones that I just mentioned. And the ones which we do not have this gliding property of, as if it's moving from one vowel sound to the next vowel sound. Those kind of vowel sounds are known as monophthongs, like e, u, o, right? They're all monophthongs. You have 12 monophthongs or pure vowels in English. Okay. What else? clusters. Clusters are what? Clusters are basically combination of two consonant sounds, at least two consonant sounds, right? You can have more than two, definitely. But at least if you have two consonant sounds that are together, then you call it a cluster. Okay. So as far as the process is concerned, we know that in every consonant sound you have an inbuilt vowel, right? Like you say a sound like k, right? You cannot say that ending sound. What happens in a cluster is when you have two consonants repeated in the first one. So say together, right? So when that happens, the inbuilt vowel sound in the first sound in cluster, it gets deleted. Instead, it gets added to the next consonant sound l, right? Cl. Similarly, in the word cluster, again you have st. That's also a cluster, right? So basically, cluster is a combination of consonant sounds. The consonant sound combination can be either two or three. In English, the most commonly formed cluster formation is between two consonants, right? That's the most commonly available cluster. You also have three, but when it is three, the number of cluster forming consonant becomes very restricted. In a combination of three-word cluster, the first sound is always the sound. Can someone say this? What is it? You can comment it, you know. If you have a cluster in English, which is formed by a consonant cluster of three, then what would be the first sound? What are the possible first sounds? No, nobody? It has to be per and per, right? Correct. Yeah, Shrutis, you are right. The first sound has to be per and per, not sir. The first one will only be per and per, right? And then followed by, sorry, the first one has to be sir, then per, and then it has to be ra and l, right? So there are some restrictions. From what we understand is when the number of consonant sounds increase, right? Number of consonant sounds increase in the cluster, the total number of cluster formation that you can do or the number of words that you can form out of them becomes very restricted. With two consonant clusters, you have plenty of them in English. Three also possible, but then this restriction comes in, right? The first sound has to be sir. The second sounds have to be either per or k, and the third one in the consonant cluster will have to be either ra or l, right? There is also va and ta and all, but we are not taking them in because the number of words that you can create with those sounds are very, very less. And four consonant cluster, it becomes almost, very difficult. You will have handful, maybe less than 10 or something, right? No, I'm not sharing the screen. You don't have to do anything with the screen right now. That's what I told you that we started it off almost half an hour late. So there is nothing that I want to show you at this point. Maybe from the next class onwards, we'll do that. Okay. I hope you have understood what cluster is. There are too many questions coming in. I'll just take in whatever I'm seeing in case something is unanswered. You can type them out again. Which semi-vowel does the word sweet contain? And make sure you don't ask me questions from graded assignments at this point. Okay, if they are from practice assignments, it's fine, but not graded assignments. And people who are spamming, please stop this, okay? This is for the qualifier batch. These classes are meant for the qualifier batch. You don't have to learn the symbols for any of the sounds, but you need to know all the sounds and their places and manners of articulation, right? That is very important. What more? Phonetic transcript. No. See, there is nothing called simplification chart or anything. You don't have to know the symbols. I can tell you that right now. You don't need to learn all the symbols that's shown. Those symbols are shown so that you can be shown the sounds distinctively, right? With the letters that we have in English right now, it's difficult to show you how these sounds are distinct and different from each other. Hence, this IPA chart is an international chart that has been shown to you so that you can see that difference. But you are not expected to by heart it, or you are not expected to know these symbols by themselves. What you are expected to know are the sounds. You should be able to distinguish each of these sounds based on their places of articulation and their manners of articulation. In the sense, you should know, like if I say pa, ba, ma, and ba, you should know that they are all produced with the help of the articulator side, which are your lips, right? Or when I say ka or ga, you should know that these are sounds which are produced at the velar region, right? Velar region. This is what is expected from you to be known. Okay, the symbols and all are not required. Something like determining the similarity of two words such as close and go is similar but not accurate. I did not get that question. Okay. Suggestions or reference that can assist me become more familiar myself. This person is asking about acquisition. What exactly is your question? I am not able to follow. Are you asking a difference between the acquisition and learning, or is it something else? Mayank, long and short vowels, they are dependent on the length of the duration of the production of these songs, right? So if I have something like book and I have something like pool, right? So clearly the vowel sound that I am using in both of these words is oo. But you know that in book, the oo sound is short, right? Comparatively, when you look at the word pool, you know that the length or the duration that I use to articulate the sound O is longer than what you hear in the word book, right? So book and pool, or sit and seat, right? In this case, the vowel we are using is the E sound. So in sit you have a short vowel, and in the second one, which is seat, you have a longer vowel. So when you're solving questions related to the long and short vowels in the exam, make sure whatever your sound is, you might get a question like, whether the given sound or which among the following carries a long U sound or long E sound. How do you approach that question? You take a word like this, which is in contrast to this, right? You have a list of words prepared for each of these vowels. These words should have these long and short vowel ends, right? So for E sound, you find a word. For the long E, you find a word. Similarly, for U, you find small, and the short U, you find a word. For long U sound, you pick a word prepared. You have a list of that. Whenever you have a question, you take this word and contrast it with the words or the word that's given in your question, so that you can, hear the difference of the length of articulation clearly, right? At this point, some of the words for you, it might be difficult for you to understand whether long or short, but this technique will help. Just have a list of words prepared for each of these long and short counterparts. Whatever the question is, you take your list of words and then contrast it with the words given in the question. So that will help you answer the question. Okay. Okay. What is the sound of in your Charu? What did you mean? Ver and year, they're both semi-vowels and they're also constants. Okay. My screen is not visible because I'm not sharing anything with you at this. Practice assignment. So what is the semi-value here in the word sweet? You probably are not able to answer it because you did not read it correctly, right? So it's sweet. The sound is ver. Semi-val that is here is the sound ver. Should we? You don't have to remember. See, if you have understood the vocal tract and the sounds produced properly, you don't have to remember any of these. Retroflex or velar, you're not expected to remember them. You will have to remember them if you don't follow the concepts properly. Okay. So what you should do is you should rewatch the lecture a couple of times and try and understand where these sounds are articulated. Like when I say bilabial, you should know that this is at the lips, right? So you have the diagram, right, in the lecture. Just keep that in mind. So beginning from the mouth till the back of your mouth, or maybe beginning from the back of the mouth till the end of your lips, you can follow that trajectory. See where in that trajectory where the sounds are produced in your mouth, right, in the oral cavity. Where it is, I'll do that with you in the next week, right? Right now, I do not have the thing with me. I'll show you how to do that, but you will have to, spend a little time with it. If you do that, then you won't have to remember. Otherwise, it's going to be tough, each of it you'll have to, and that is not a productive exercise to remember what are the retroflex sounds, what are the velar sounds. There are high chances you will forget. So instead, focus on that figure and see the trajectory of the flow of air. And as the air flows out, see where it is being obstructed and as a result, where these sounds are being produced, right? So you take a trajectory either from the front to the back of the mouth or from the back to the front of the mouth. I would suggest back to front because we know that sounds are produced by the exhaling. So that way you can better understand the sounds. So do that. I'll show you that in the next class. But just to answer the question that you had now, I thought I'll just let you know about this. Ram Kumar, identifying short vowel and long vowel, just now, no, I told you. You prepare a set of words with you with each of these vowel sounds. And whenever you have a question, if it is about long oo, you take the word that you have chosen with the short oo, contrast these two words and see if they are the same or if there is a difference in the length between the sound that you have and the one that is given in the word in the question. That way you can, right now you can do that. That would be one method to solve this problem of not being able to identify long and short vowels. See, both acquisition and learning are related to language learning. The difference is acquisition is something that is more effortless, right? Something that happens even without you knowing. But learning is when you put in some conscious efforts and learn the language, right? Like say most of us have learned our second or third language, like English or language XYZ, which is not our mother tongue, by putting in efforts, right? It was taught to us through formal instruction in our classrooms in school. So that is called learning the language. That is with some efforts, by putting in conscious efforts. Acquisition is more natural, right? Something like your mother tongue that you have learned. Nobody taught you to speak in that language. You grew up with that language. It's a language of your neighborhood or of your home, right? So that's the difference between acquisition and learning. Yeah. If you're finding it difficult to attend the live session because of bandwidth, please watch the recorded videos. If you have made, I see some administrative, questions and all. Like we told you in the last live session, we are a little incapable to answer this question. If you only have content related questions, you can come and ask us in this session, because these kind of questions we are also unable to answer, because you're not being able to log in, or you're not able to change the what is that, the city of exam and all that. We don't control those things, right? Those are all administrative issues, and we are hardly able to give you answers on that. So please write to them. It might take some time for them to respond, but you mail them and find out. But do not write about things to us, because we ourselves don't know. Okay, we don't control any of those administrative work. So sorry about that. So Mishti, is remedy a long while? You check and find out if it is a long while. How will you find it out? Just take another word and contrast it with this and see. I can give you one tip. See, this is not a foolproof method, but in say 80-85% cases it works. So if in a word, before the vowel sound, if you hear the full consonant sound, right? Like in the word remedy, right? You hear the sound D, right? The full letter D is being heard, right? If that is the case, then mostly the conclusion is that the vowel sound that follows it would be a long vowel, right? So another example would be energy, right? So remedy, energy, all of these has a long E sound. This is just like a trick. Don't use it everywhere. There are places where it may be wrong as well. But say 80-85% cases, we also see that when you're able to hear the letter, the sound of the name of the letter entirely in a word, like in remedy, energy, right? Usually the vowel sound that follows it is a long vowel. Right? This is just because you asked it. Please cross check it with a dictionary. Don't take this as a foolproof method. Every time this may not work, but I think for the starters you can use this. But please cross check always before you mark. Right? Anything else? I know that there are a lot of questions that are popping up, so there are chances that I might have missed some of them also. That and all you decide for yourself. If you're able to do the assignments without attending sessions and all, if you're okay, is okay. But now all of these are case by case. Okay, like certain topics you might be okay doing without any external help or extra reading. But some topics might be a little confusing or tricky. You might have to spend a little more time with it. So it's not like if you are able to solve the week 1 and 2 properly, then everything, every other following module is going to be easy. So don't decide it that way. Consider these things on a case by case basis. Do not replace hard work with anything else. That's all. Keep watching the lectures. If you're doing okay, then very nice. But see that that's the case for all the topics and not just one or two. Okay. So one more important thing, these sessions, they are not compulsory sessions, right? They happen on every Monday between 6 to 7. And none of these sessions are compulsory sessions. These are usually meant for students who think they require some extra practice, or they're finding it difficult to follow the lectures on their own, right? So this is the attendance for any of these sessions are not compulsory, right? Nor do you get any additional marks or grace marks for coming to these sessions, right? So you can be your decision maker. In case you think this is useful and you need some help, you may come and attend these sessions, but there is no compulsion, right? It's not a compulsory session. Any other thing, anything that I have missed out? So for today, we'll not take up the same way. Usually, sometimes I do continue after 7 in case we are practicing, but right now we are not doing anything like that. Maybe we'll answer a few more questions if you have any, and then we can wind up. Yes. Qualified questions would be almost, they won't exactly be the same, but you can find similar patterns. You cannot say similar patterns. Kritika, if you can tell me what the question is, I can help you with that. 1.5 question number 1 and 4. I don't know. I don't have those questions in front of me. I'm just running through the messages to see if I've missed any questions. I might have, in case something that is content related and is not answered. In English, let us see how many long and short vowel. In English, you have a set of 5 long and short vowels, Mohit. Right? So you have the and as in the word go and earth, that is one set. Then sit and seat, that is the long and short E. Book and pool, that's the short and long two. Then you have pot and daughter, which is the long and short O. And then the right? Cup and car. So you have 5 set of them in English. Some of them I'm not able to see now. What tips, which tip are you asking, Ram Kumar? I think I have said a couple of them now. I don't know what you're asking about. Long vowel, I guess. So see, if you can hear the full letter in the word, like in remedy or energy, right? You hear D, G and all, no? So that's like a full letter that you hear. So if that is the case, then the vowel that follows, immediately follows it. In this case, it's E, both in remedy and energy. That vowel is a long vowel. Okay, that's what I meant. But again, a trick is a trick. Don't take it as a foolproof thing. Please cross check before you mark for long and short. No, you don't have to purchase any reference book. The lectures, the PPT slides and everything that you have should be more than enough. However, if you think you want to learn a little more or you think you would be able to learn a bit more, then any reference book is any good grammar book in the market is fine. There is nothing specifically that we recommend from our side. And you certainly don't have to buy any of those references. Please follow the lectures and do your assignments. That should be more than enough for you. You're unable to unmute because that is disabled, no? Because this is a huge call. I saw your question, Kritika. What I was saying is if you can paste the question or something here, then I can try and respond to it. You just mentioned 1.5, question 2 and 4. I don't have the list of questions with me. So if you can help me with those questions, or maybe post it here, then I can respond to it. Which among the following? Okay, what's the same sound as underlined? This is a question from the graded assignment. I have a feeling it is. If it is, please keep it at bay. I don't want to let out the answer. Okay. Which semi-vowel occurs in the transition? Very good. I think both of these questions are from the graded assignment. Just wait. Have the dates for the submission of the first week assignment passed, or is it still due? This semi-vowel question is definitely not practice. I think I saw this question yesterday in the forum. It's due on 12th of June. So, yeah, then let's not talk about this. But let me see if I can help you. Yeah, so for the question, which among the following words the same sound as underlined? You look at the word toy and then repeat the words in option A and B to yourself. and check which one has a sound that is similar to toy. Which one sounds similar to toy? In this market, not easy or difficult, right? And transition between, okay, so you say she wants to eat. She wants to eat, right? That's how you say the sentence in connected speech. She wants to eat, and you're supposed to find out the semi-vowel in the transition between to and eat. So to eat. She wants to eat. You can easily hear the sound and decide whether it's b or y. Okay, right. Anything else? This question also we just discussed a while ago. Remedy. Okay. Please listen to the recording again and see you'll understand what it is. Okay, all right then. Next time we'll see if we can streamline this in a better way, right? Today I got a little handicap because of things starting late and all that. So let's start off practicing some of these questions in the next class, right? I'll just give you a gist of things in the next class, and then you can solve some of these questions so that you can check for yourself if you have understood the concepts properly or not. Okay. Recorded session after the session would be done. I think it would be populated on the calendar from where you access the link, right? So they'll update the playlist, maybe if not immediately after the session, by the end of this week, definitely they will update it. So you can watch the sessions there, right? There will be a playlist that would be updated in the calendar. You can access the sessions from there. Okay. Okay. All right, everyone. Then see you. We'll meet again next week. Thank you for joining me.